Hello there. This is General Grievous, and you are watching the Cantina Club.
Scum and villainy, it's a wretched hive. But life ain't always teddy bears, fireworks, and high fives. The folks round here don't care for sand. Stick around long enough, you'll be lucky just to lose a hand. Singing yum num, raise your glass and sing.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Cantina Club. This week we're going to talk about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series that's premiering in 2022 on Disney Plus. So don't go anywhere, come right back and we'll talk about it.
We all know round here.
Wait a minute,
Solo
it's
always does
2022.
shots
What are we
first.
talking about?
Singing yum num, raise your glass and sing yum num. Sing it
Find
with
out
me.
the week it's going to be released and talk about it then.
At the
I can't wait for the
Cantina Club.
CGI Alec Guinness. That's gonna be great.
Yeah, he goes. All right, we're back. So this week we just decided to, Greedo and I just decided to talk about some of the speculation that's going on around about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series that's coming out next year. Definitely it's much anticipated. A lot of people are really talking about this, and some people are even speculating that this could be the biggest Star Wars TV show yet, and maybe ever. So, well, because of the legacy-wide that I couldn't think of, legacy-wide implications of some of the things that are going to happen on this show, presumably. Again, we can't really say this stuff is spoilers. It may eventually be revealed that the stuff we're talking about is spoilers, but it's not, I guess, because we're not saying it is spoilers because we have no idea. This is literally just,
But if you don't want to hear about speculation, just
right. This is literally just us kind of talking about
join the 5 billion other people on the planet who don't watch this or listen to it.
Right.
And just
Exactly. Join the majority.
Just go with them. Right.
Okay, so I guess we'll just start out with some basic facts about this. Is that Deborah Chow is going to be the showrunner. Well, she is the showrunner, I guess I should say. If you recognize the name, it's most likely from she's directed a couple of episodes of The Mandalorian, so she does have a little bit of Star Wars pedigree. So I am looking forward to that because that gives me hope this is going to be good too. They did release back at the beginning of September, or actually longer than that. StarWars.com released the entire cast, the official cast. So
Right.
I want to bring up some of that at some point. We'll talk a little bit about that here in a minute. And obviously, there's a couple of people on there that definitely we already know their characters, so we know that those people will be reprising the same role. All right.
I remember there was somebody in there that looked like an Imperial officer. He just looked like someone who played him. I don't remember who it was. But.
Right. Okay, so also I guess we'll talk about the time frame. So everything that we've learned so far in interviews and things like that with cast members and production staff, it's like right in the middle between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. It's like 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, 10 years before A New Hope. So we're way before like anything like Rogue One or anything. We're 10 years before that, because that literally happens, obviously, as we know, immediately before A New Hope starts. So basically that's the time frame. I guess first we can go ahead and look at some of the cast here, if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
All right, we've got
looked in a while.
Yeah, the obvious is Ewan McGregor.
Sure.
Reprising his role as Obi-Wan.
Alec Guinness, the image of Alec Guinness.
Yeah,
We have the CGI Guinness.
Yeah, de-aged to Sir Alec Guinness. And then we've got Hayden Christensen returning to portray Darth Vader / Anakin Skywalker.
That was the biggest shock by far.
That really was. Yeah, not many people ever thought that Hayden would return to Star Wars, but I think it's great. I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, now we've got a lady named Moses Ingram, who I'm personally not familiar with her work. She's in there. Okay, so the next two.
The Ten Commandments was a good thing, though.
Well, yeah, did a great job.
Party in the Red Seas. There was
Absolutely. So yeah, there's
know.
definitely a skill set there. So I just want to see how that
stabs into snakes that might come into play. That could be a plot point.
Right, burning bushes,
things
you
into
never know.
snakes, which could link to Indiana Jones. Snakes.
That is true. Snakes.
be
Why did it have to be snakes?
Cameo. Harrison Ford confirmed for the Obi-Wan series.
So you heard it right here.
Yes.
Harrison Ford will be
the link between ancient Israel and Indiana Jones.
All right,
Star Wars.
The next two people we have already seen in Star Wars, so we know the characters they're portraying. And I apologize for I've never known how to pronounce her last name, but we've got Joel Edgerton and Bonnie Piesse, Piesse. But she plays obviously that's obviously Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. So they will be in there.
Wow, we're gonna actually try to deal with the 10-year, what they look like between the prequels 10 years later, when they should be like 29 or something.
Yeah, literally, especially Bonnie. She looks like she's about 22 years old.
Yeah,
Revenge of the Sith, and then suddenly 20 years
gonna be in their 30s
like
at most. Yeah. Yeah, Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru definitely looked in their early 40s in Star Wars. Yeah, go along with that.
Exactly. Okay, so beyond that, I don't really recognize any of the other. I mean, I recognize them as actors in some cases, but not obviously they're not Star Wars pedigree and all that kind of stuff. But we got Kumal Najiyani, who I have seen in a couple of things. He's actually most notably known for comedy stuff. He does a lot of comedy sketches, and he's played comic roles in films, but he's also done a couple of dramatic roles I've seen him in. So he's
sidekick.
Right, could be. Indira Varma, who I'm not familiar with. She looks familiar, but I'm not actually. The name's not ringing a bell. Then we've got Rupert Friend.
That's the Imperial officer, I think.
That's the one. Yeah, he probably looks like an Imperial officer, maybe.
Yeah.
Then we've got O'Shea Jackson Jr., Sung Kang, Simone Kessel, and who I guess is going to run, and Benny.
There's another link to Harrison Ford.
Right, exactly. So it's obvious Harrison Ford's going to be in this.
Yes, he's a surprise.
And then we got finally we've got Benny. Safdie. I am so sorry, I'm butchering this name, but it looks like Safdie, Safdie. So, but I'm not familiar with. I've never seen him. Okay. Well, but, so anyway,
but no kids. Little
there are no children
that would be like Luke or Leia or anything like
but
that.
Obviously there may be hiding some stuff. You never know.
Right.
Especially because there is some speculation on something that I do want to talk about at some point in a minute.
They're going to DH Mark Hamill again. Down to 10 years old. Running around.
So let me throw it to you, Greedo. What are your hopes and expectations for this show? What do you hope to get?
That it's good. That it's good. Really, that it's good.
And I think we can all set that as a baseline.
Yeah, no, that's really it. That's all. I mean, it could be Obi-Wan, building his hut. If it was good, I wouldn't care. I mean, I know that would be bad, but if there's so many things they could do. I was just trying to think about it the other day, and it's mind-boggling. And I know they put the thing that concerns me, it concerns everyone, is they kind of put it on hold and redid everything. So you're wondering, like, what was not good enough about it, and is it another possible case where we would like what they were doing and someone said this isn't commercial enough, or where's the stuff that will get the mainstream audience, and so they redid it to jazz it up more for what we might not actually like, I mean, because I think a lot of us would like it if Obi-Wan if it was emotional, and like more of a that kind of story, and just done really, really well. It doesn't have to be a huge epic story or anything, or have tons of action necessarily. It's what, 6 hours or 6 episodes? It could be 30 minutes.
I believe, from what I understand, it's going to be six episodes.
So you're talking about potentially 3 hours, and that's it. A long movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to not load myself down with expectations.
Yeah.
It's very cool they're doing it. I just never thought they would do this.
Yeah.
So the fine line between Rebels did this and Clone Wars did this. When you, especially Rebels though, when you start throwing in extra scenes like with Obi-Wan and Maul and Tatooine and stuff, you're messing with things that maybe are better left alone. But so far it's worked. So I don't want to see that be a train wreck and do something that that I would rather forget or not have seen. So I just hope that I hope it rings true and has integrity and is number one, just well done. I'm okay with them challenging some ideas and stuff. As long as it's well done.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But
I was typing something in.
What about you? What are you looking for?
Well, honestly, I mean, I guess
is there one thing or two things that you'd really like to see that?
One thing that we differ on and we've discussed a few times is the Vader storyline. I know you think with Vader that less is more. I totally get that.
Yeah.
And I agree with that to a point, but him being pretty much my favorite character in Star Wars, I resist. I find it hard to resist, seeing more Vader. And most of the speculation I saw online that I've been reading articles and watching videos is that he is reprising Vader and not necessarily Anakin. Because I know we had talked about, they're just bringing
flashbacks,
because they're going to do flashbacks, from before. But everything I'm hearing is it's all pointing towards Vader, and obviously they're gonna show the actor's face, so they could show maybe, I don't know, some back to tank scenes or some rare scene of him without his helmet, in the costume or something like that, something we've never seen before. But as far as what I'm looking forward to seeing, I guess partly, maybe fill in a few of the gaps, that are I wouldn't call them plot holes from A New Hope. I would just call them inconsistencies, maybe. But they can always be explained away as just Obi-Wan trying to gloss things over, like, I talked about, like, why doesn't he recognize R2? That kind of thing. When yet he's got years and years and years of being right next to him almost, and then he acts like, I don't remember ever seeing a droid before.
Did they make some kind of deal or something? Because because Obi-Wan's been there for years looking over Luke
at that point.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that people tend to pick on is like, your father said he wanted you to have this when you were old enough. It's like nowhere in Star Wars do we see Anakin say, well, if I ever have a kid and I die, please give me my lightsaber.
Having a kid wasn't really a thing that was ever discussed, much less.
So that again could just be Obi-Wan trying to, soften Luke up to get him to come along with him and go to Alderaan and all that. So you could definitely explain all that stuff away. And I definitely won't lose any sleep not knowing the answers to this stuff. I'll be interested to see if they try to tackle that stuff. So
I even wonder too, like, will they explain why they call him Luke Skywalker? Why they didn't change his name? If you're gonna have Owen and Beru, there could be a chance in there for them to say, we're not, we're calling him his name or something. I don't know, something, explain some way where, or they could show them like putting him in the chain code registry as Luke Lars, but they call him Skywalker on the farm. You know what I mean?
So call him by his name.
I don't know.
That's a lot. I didn't think about that. Yeah, they could actually.
I thought about it the other day. It's like, that was one of the plot holes. I thought, will they kind of just offhandedly address that?
Right.
And I also am kind of interested because I think it may have been in the novel or the radio show somewhere in the Star Wars extra
like
materials.
The radio show or the
Luke refers to, when they're talking about Obi-Wan, he says it says a flashback, or it says in some way, there was a time when Luke was lost in the desert or something, and Obi-Wan found him and brought him back home.
Right.
I could just be making this up. Do you remember something like that from somewhere?
It sounds familiar, and ironically, I've been listening. I like to listen.
Yeah,
I like to have white noise when I sleep sometimes. And the last few nights, I've put on the original, Star Wars radio show and a radio program adaptation or whatever.
Which is great.
But again, I'm sleeping, so I'm not necessarily hearing all of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely remembering some things I hadn't listened to.
I thought, if I remember correctly, he and maybe Deke, his friend Deke, got lost in the desert, and Obi-Wan found him and brought him back. And instead of them being grateful, the Lars were kind of hostile towards him or whatever.
Confrontational.
Said, don't hang out, don't, you kind of warned him off or whatever. It's just kind of the memory I have in my head, but I don't know where this came from, if it was a comic or the novel or the radio show. But so there's always been that story there, kind of like, when we were kids and they said, Obi-Wan attacked Vader in his anger. This was before he was even Luke's father. And then the Emperor showed up. And so we always had that story there, but it wasn't ever fleshed out until much later. There's always been this story laying around that Luke got lost in the desert, in my mind anyway. I can't remember where it came from, but so I'd be interested. I'm wondering if they're going to kind of base it, part of it on that, or if the whole Luke thing won't even really come into play,
because at some point they're going to have to, obviously they have, Lars, the Lars family coming back. They've got Owen and Beru.
That doesn't mean they have to have scenes there though at the homestead.
Oh, not necessarily. They could meet up in Anchorhead, or they could meet up in Mos Eisley or something. Who knows?
Yeah. Or he could see them in a distance. Obi-Wan could be looking over a ridge or something, and you could see the characters there.
Right.
That's what's going to be interesting. Is Luke going to make an appearance? And then I was thinking about it. I've been so Luke-centric in this. This is what intrigued me, is what if they bring in a Leia storyline? Because he's buddies with Bale Organa.
Exactly.
Also, Yoda is kind of involved in this equation. They could still be communicating.
Absolutely.
And Vader would be much more likely. I mean, I guess Vader could come by the homestead to look at his mom's grave, but Vader, in my opinion, would be much more likely to be involved with the Organas or something, in some way.
I think
and
so.
maybe the Organas say, hey, Obi-Wan, we could use your help. There could be a chance that this is uncovered, that she's Vader's daughter, And so I could see him, if they go that far. I kind of almost think the story is going to be about something else entirely than him guarding these twins. But I could see him leaving Tatooine to go distract Vader or to protect Leia or do something in that regard too. Because I was just thinking about him being there in Tatooine, Luke, and Lucas's mission. But that doesn't mean he didn't leave at some point briefly to get involved in the things, because he's one of the conspirators on this that is charged with protecting these kids' identities and stuff. So he's well known by everyone involved. So
right. I mean, my gut tells me that he will. That's just something I've thought from day one, that we're going to see at some point. We're going to see him leave Tatooine to do something and return, something like that. So
so those things interest me. And then the other thing is that we were going to talk about is all the potential cameos, because it's a crazy list.
It really can be.
10 years, 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, and you get Vader involved, then you go have everyone from the Emperor, because we have Ian McDermott still around, and he's perfect age to be playing the Emperor, as we know, and all the way down to Watto.
Watto could still be
Jar Jar. We can finally solve the whole Jar Jar thing. What happened to Jar Jar? They could show that.
Right. True.
So anyway.
Interesting.
That was my first thought when you said that guy was known as a comedian. I was like, "Ooh, is this the new Jar Jar?" But they have Ahmed Best already, so
right.
And there's no way they're going to announce him because everybody would know.
They would know exactly.
He's there for Jar Jar, right?
Right.
What would you think about that? What if Jar Jar showed up? I mean, he doesn't have to be in every episode, but what would you think?
I'm okay with it, as long as we see, as long as it's done for a worthwhile purpose, not just gratuitous. Hey,
I would be too. Yeah, I would be too.
I'd be fine with that.
He exists. I mean, he's not gone away. He's as much as we disliked the character in Phantom Menace, they reduced his role in the other two movies, and he was fine. Right. He's been there for 20 years. Everybody's kind of over it at this point.
Exactly.
And if you did something cool with the character, that could be really, this whole thing could be kind of a big redemption arc for Hayden and for everybody.
Exactly. Okay, so since you've been talking about Luke, some of the speculation is that there's rumors that they have cast a 10-year-old Luke.
Mm-hmm.
So that's again rumor. None of this is proven.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know any of this stuff. But that rumor is out there.
What was the I think it's going to be the doll from Chucky. It's going to be the doll from Child's Play because Mark Hamill did the voice for that.
Right.
It'll be like the new Grogu. It's Chucky in the desert running around.
Exactly. So that's some speculation that's out there, is that we
10-year-old Luke.
There's a good chance we may see a 10-year-old.
Is this strong speculation? Like they've seen a kid, wearing Luke robes or something? Or
I'm not quantifying any of this. It's just
okay.
It's just stuff I've
It's
seen
just talk.
read.
So we could.
I didn't go into like a deep.
It's obvious.
A deep dive to the point where I was like checking.
There was no casting call that you saw for a
right. I haven't
kid.
seen anything about that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, some of the speculation may have come from that, but I didn't verify that. Is what I'm saying, I guess.
I wonder if Hayden doesn't have any kids, does he?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Okay, so another thing that came out in an interview, this is verified because it actually came from the actor's mouth, and I'm sure Disney was probably not happy about this, but the actor Sung Kang revealed in an interview, I think back in end of July, early August, that his character has a lightsaber. Yeah, so I have, and my first gut was this, and then I've also seen other speculation about this as well, that he may be playing the role of an inquisitor, trying to hunt down.
Well, gonna bring the inquisitors into the live action.
Mm-hmm. So that may be the role that he's playing. So that's out there. How
old is he? That actor? Does he look, or do you know?
Let me take a look. I would say he's young. I'd say probably maybe mid-30s at the oldest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely not an old guy. Yeah, I'd say if that. Yeah.
So that's the perfect. He's not playing a young and experienced person. Then probably he's playing
right.
something like an inquisitor or a good or bad guy. That's
got a lightsaber.
That could be misdirection also, but it sounds like a genuine slip. I remember I can never pronounce his name, but the actor who played Baze Malbus in Rogue One let it slip that Donnie Yen's character died before the movie came out.
Yeah, I remember
at a convention because of the language barrier thing.
Right, because of the language barrier, exactly. Okay,
the translator was just blurting it all out, and when Donnie Yen dies, he gets really upset, and then he dies, and the host was like, "Whoa, stop!
Wait, what?
Mouse assassins!"
Right. Okay, so another unconfirmed rumor. There were photos released of Ray Park on his site of him wearing the prosthetics, the Maul prosthetics.
Oh, the Maul.
Yeah,
that sounds like misdirection to me.
That might be misdirection. You're very right. But
because they would have done that for Solo, and those pictures could be from that.
Could be. I thought about that. That could very much be from the making of Solo.
And they're just shaking the tree.
The only other potential connection there is that from the video I was watching said that the source of that is the same source that uncovered that Hayden was returning.
Yeah.
So anyway, could be.
I don't buy that one though.
Okay. That one to me seems the least likely. Yeah.
Yeah, they've already done that story, and I don't know that we'd have to talk about the timeline of how he gets from Rebels backwards to being a crime boss or whatever, because there's a very thin line there in time that doesn't seem like it would fit for him to be involved in this.
Right, exactly. Okay, one other thing that
a fight between Vader and Maul would be pretty damn sweet, though.
Oh yeah,
but I mean, this is an Obi-Wan series, so we're not turning it into Vader.
Exactly.
So I don't see how
Vader versus Maul.
But yeah, Inquisitor, Obi-Wan, Maul, and Vader all going at it we'd be talking epic proportion.
Oh yeah,
meltdown if that happened.
I'd pay for that. Okay.
I'd pay $6 for that.
Yeah, right. I'd pay $6
or whatever the subscription is now.
All right. So
somebody's losing a hand.
One other thing that we have, and this is an actual sighting, an on-set sighting.
Okay.
And
I know none of this, by the way. He said Carillion is telling me all this for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm totally allergic to any kind of spoilers and speculation, but we figured we're gonna run across some of this stuff anyway.
Right. So. This is really the only one of these I even have. But it just seems more corroborated because of the fact that
let me guess, hang on.
seen
Let
on
me
the
throw,
set or like leaving the sound stage or something like that.
it's
But it
not
was-
Frank Oz, right?
It is Frank Oz.
Frank Oz, okay. That would be my first guess, but he said something that was quoted a few weeks back about Disney not being interested in doing the puppetry, the legitimate artistry. You remember that?
No, I don't recall that.
Okay, well, we'll have to look that up. But he came out with some kind of sound like a scathing quote about Disney, saying they're not interested in artists, in the artistry of it.
They just want to CGI it.
Or something. I didn't really read the whole thing, but so that would strike me as odd that he was there. Maybe he went for a meeting, and Frank Oz.
Yeah,
he's by no means a sellout or anything. I mean, he's not an easy touch. If he doesn't like what they're going to do, he's not going to do it. Involved. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm sure he's kind of protective of the Yoda legacy and character and all that.
Right.
So anyway, I'll have to look into that. But
yeah,
that's cool. If he was,
so
there.
That's interesting that he was seen on leaving a soundstage or something.
I mean, that's going to be probably your number one cameo guess would be Yoda.
Right.
Instant hit. Anytime Yoda shows up.
We've also had confirmed reports that, because I know people have reached out to, and again, he could be covering it up, you never know, but he seemed pretty adamant that this is Liam Neeson was adamant that no one was interested in him reprising Qui-Gon, even like as a Force ghost or something like that, to communicate, like we saw in Clone Wars, where Obi-Wan was communicating with Qui-Gon. But people did reach out to Liam Neeson to ask, and he just said, nope, I've had zero inquiries about that at all. But again,
he's too busy
he could totally be covering that up. He's too busy
making B movies for Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. B action films.
Amazon, just the streaming releases.
Yeah, exactly. So
he has a particular set of skills.
Ewan did comment. What's that?
He said he has a particular set of skills, and it involves just making a lot of streaming movies, like like Nicolas Cage.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But Ewan commented in an interview about 2-3 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, that production has wrapped. That it wrapped right at the beginning of September. So obviously now they're starting post-production. So time frame wise, I'm thinking at the earliest we'll probably get maybe like a May release at the earliest, unless they want to push it all the way until. I've heard some people say they're going to push it until November, December, although I find that unlikely, because that seems to be kind of the area of the year when Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, that kind of stuff, that they kind of own that time frame right now, at least in the first couple of seasons, And
it depends on how, if there's anything interlinked in these stories, like how they want to release it, if they're telling a sequential story, which I doubt there's going to be a whole lot there. But
the other, because it'll really reveal something that the other hasn't yet. Exactly.
Yeah, it depends on what they do with all that. But this seems like something that exists in its own little time frame that isn't going to connect too much with the other things they're doing.
Right.
Would be my guess. But
yeah.
And we also had Hayden appearing at that convention with the crew hat on for Obi-Wan.
Right. Yeah.
Wearing the baseball cap with the Obi-Wan series crew hat. That was pretty cool.
Exactly. Very cool.
And they also, both of them canceled San Antonio in the summer, and that mostly because of COVID, I think, but that could have also had to do with wrapping up the series as well.
Yeah, true.
So, all right, that's everything you've heard, or have you got?
Yeah, more? That's pretty. Yeah, that's. I skipped over a few things because it's stuff I know you don't want to know about, because it is like it's stuff we don't want to necessarily get into, because it is storyline speculation and stuff like that. Okay. And some of it's corroborated, some of it's not. So, with photos from the set and stuff like that. Things being filmed like down the street from where someone lives, that kind of thing. It's like, oh well.
Now wait a minute. There's one thing a question I have here.
Okay.
During this time frame, would this be the time frame of the Cassian series? Would there be potentially any overlap?
That's possible. I imagine
how
would, because
much
we're getting a prequel for
Cassian,
and Cassian takes place about 10 years after this. The Cassian story in Rogue One. So depending on how far back they go with Cassian Andor, then we could.
It doesn't seem likely. 10 years is a long time to do that.
It is a while, but the character is not. It's not like he's 20 years old.
It really depends on what the point of the Obi-Wan show is. Like how much other elements they're going to draw in, or is it going to be more of a personal Obi-Wan story?
Right, just kind of a singular focus on the character.
You could just show him adapting to life on Tatooine and what, what he's thinking and all that stuff.
Exactly.
And Vader could be in a Force vision. Yoda could be in a Force vision. They could bring so many things in. They could do Force visions on screen like they did in The Force Awakens. They could go back to something like that. That's another weird thing is, the Force visions skip around in time. You see the future, you see that. So they could even, as crazy as it sounds, they could bring Daisy Ridley into this in a way because Obi-Wan directly communicated with her in The Force Awakens and in Rise of Skywalker. He seemed to be, for some reason, an important figure in that, even though they kind of dropped the ball and never really explained why him. But
exactly.
So but I kind of think they could get really buried trying to connect all this stuff and make time for all these things. That seems like a recipe for disaster. So I think it'll be a more lean story,
more of a streamlined story.
They'll only bring in the stuff that'll serve the story, hopefully, and not just create some incidents so that they can do fan service or whatever.
Right.
Hopefully it makes sense, and there's so many cool things they could do though. But yeah.
Okay. So any final thoughts before we move on to our special guest?
I do wonder if there'll be some interplay with Jabba and all that too.
Right. That's a
Tatooine.
That's a viable.
They could do a whole story on that. There's so many characters they could bring in. It's crazy.
It really is. Yeah,
they could bring in Timothy Oliphant if they wanted to. He could have been around during that time period. They would just have to de-age him or something. Not that he looks old. They just have to dye his hair or something.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on, I guess.
Okay, so like we try to do when we have speculation shows about upcoming projects, we like to bring in our good buddy, the Borgullet. And we're gonna do that
Still alive.
He is still alive.
Ask the Borgullet. Ask the Borgullet. Ask the Borgullet.
Borgullet.
Ask the Borgullet.
You know the truth.
Lies. Lies, deception.
Borgullet.
Lies, deception.
Borgullet can free your thoughts. Every day, more lies. The unfortunate side effect is that one tends to lose one's mind.
All right. So, Borgullet.
Borgullet
took a little bit of rousing to get him going today. Not quite as much as last time when we let him sleep for 2 years, 3 years. He's only been asleep for about 4 months now. So I woke him up. He's a little cranky, but he's gonna work with us. So I'm gonna throw it to you, Greedo, and see what you have as a question for the Borgullet. It obviously has to be a yes or no question about what we're gonna see in the upcoming Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Okay, Will Borgullet. Hello, Borgullet. Hopefully you'll not drive me mad. But Borgullet, you will know the truth, I'm sure. But will Obi-Wan and Vader share a scene together where they're in the same locale? They're actually physically in the same room or location.
Okay, so Borgullet, will Obi-Wan and Vader share a scene where they are in the same location?
And I'm saying Vader,
in the same room together,
to keep the characters straight. I'm not talking about Anakin. I'm not talking about Anakin. I say Vader.
No. Yeah, Darth Vader, not Anakin. Okay.
Right.
Let's see. What do you think, Borgullet?
Will we establish that he's more machine now? Okay.
Good. So
this is another. He's more machine now than man. Twisted and evil. This is where Obi-Wan could get those. It's not going to be happy if they get together. They can't have any kind of happiness. It's got to be decisive. Where Obi-Wan's like, this guy's completely. There's no.
And then I want to go ahead and explain to everyone who's watching this, all two of you, that
both of you,
that when we bring out the Borgullet, we're not kidding around here. This is serious. He knows the truth. he doesn't lie ever. People tend to lose one's mind. I mean, just look at me and Greedo, obviously.
Right.
So,
He
Borgullet knows the
is
truth.
known for not telling the whole truth, though.
True.
He
sometimes.
knows the truth, but it doesn't necessarily
mean he's saying the truth.
Tell you what that is or the whole
full truth. Exactly.
Because even Saw Gerrera did not know whether the pilot was a spy or not, even after having saying over and over he would know the truth. He still thought it was a trap. So even after seeing the hologram of Galen Erso, he still thought it could be a trap. So.
All right. So my question for the Borgullet is, will Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader actually have a lightsaber duel? Will they fight at some point?
We're getting specific now. Spoiler alert.
It is decidedly so. So apparently we're going to get...
I gotta call bullshit on you, Borgullet. That is never
you can call that all you want, but Borgullet knows the truth.
We know the truth.
We're gonna have a part 3 now. There's already 2. We're gonna have a part 3 duel. Now I can see them teaming up to take out the Inquisitor, because Vader would hate the Inquisitor, is like his competition. I could see them doing a double take, look at each other, being annoyed at the Inquisitor. They both just wail.
That would actually be really cool.
That is correct.
Okay, Greedo, you're up next.
All right. Will the story involve Jabba and the Tatooine criminal underground. Criminal?
Okay. All right, Borgullet, will this show Obi-Wan Kenobi, will it have any storylines featuring Jabba the Hutt and the criminal Tatooine underground?
It's important to word your questions properly.
It is certain.
Oh, okay. So
we're definitely gonna have a Jabba storyline.
So we're gonna explain the whole bid fortuna, bargain and not fight. He's no Jedi.
Right.
The origin of that is gonna. So there's gonna be some fighting involved, I think. From
right. I have a feeling. Yeah, I think
past
you're right.
Experiences in Jedi or future experiences in Jedi. Gosh, it's confusing.
All right, so Borgullet, will the character Obi-Wan Kenobi leave Tatooine physically at any point during this show? I'll look good. Well, he's very positive.
Yeah,
he hasn't given us anything.
We can't be wrong.
Yeah.
Borgullet. Will Alec Guinness make an appearance in the series?
Oh, that's an excellent question.
Leave that to me.
Will Alec Guinness make an appearance in this series?
Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Oh, outlook not so good.
You cannot escape your destiny.
Okay, finally we got something negative out of it. All right. Let me think. Okay, so Borgullet. Will we see a storyline that includes Obi-Wan traveling to Dagobah to speak with Yoda? Yes.
Don't they have telephones?
Wow. Yes.
Okay.
So it's going to happen.
All right.
Yep. All right. That should be.
I'm not trying to question the Borgullet, but
I mean, you don't.
All right, but I'm skeptical. All right. I'm sure it's our fault.
Greedo, our resident skeptic.
It can't be Borgullet. Okay, Borgullet.
Borgullet?
Thank you. Will Bale Organa be involved in the Obi-Wan series?
Oh, okay, so we're just getting into cameos now. Okay, so will Bale Organa be in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series?
Do you have a problem with the question?
Uh-oh.
Just ask it.
He's getting an attitude. It's reply hazy, try again. All right, Borgullet. Will Bale Organa feature in, or will we see Bale Organa in the
Senator
show?
Bale
Senator
Organa.
Bale Organa, excuse me. It is certain.
Smits.
It is certain.
Okay.
So we will see.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Of course.
Will we see Alderaan?
Okay, will we see Alderaan in this show?
Will it be a location of the show?
Concentrate and ask again. You got to concentrate. You aren't concentrating.
I'm not capable of that kind of concentration for this.
Wow.
Yes, exactly,
That's not good.
exactly.
Concentrate and ask again.
All right. Borgullet will Alderaan be a location of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series streaming on Disney Plus 2022?
Don't count on it.
Okay, so Bale Organa is just drifting in space.
Right.
Or
actually, Bale Organa comes to Tatooine to check on
It's your turn. What do you got for Borgullet?
All right, I'm going to start getting into some cameos here. Borgullet, please tell me and Greedo and the audience if we are going to see Luke Skywalker in this show. Outlook not so good.
Okay, I can understand that. He's already been in one show.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What do you got?
Will we see Leia Organa Skywalker solo?
Will we see Leia Organa? Well, we weren't going to see Organa solo. We're going to solo because she's not married yet. But Borgullet, will we see Leia Organa? Leia Organa.
I have a bad
Right,
feeling about this.
It's driving you mad.
In this show. As I see it, yes. So as the
Okay.
Borgullet sees it,
No Luke, but Leia.
no Luke, but we got Leia. Okay. All right. So we've already kind of answered the Yoda question, so he's going to be there. So I'm going to skip over that one on my list. Okay. So will we see Mace Windu in this show?
I have a really bad feeling about
Everybody's
this.
obsessed with Mace Windu.
Outlook not so good.
Anybody ever think about the fact that Mace Windu went out the window?
Did anybody ever think about the fact that Jedi can fall from 9,000 feet and stop on a dime?
That is correct.
All
If
right.
Sith lightning is such a thing, why don't you just wear like a poly rubber suit? You'd be fine. It's like, just don't make yourself a conductor.
All right. What's your next cameo?
Let's see. Borgullet.
Borgullet.
Yes, Borgullet. Thank you, Saul. Will
Borgullet
let me think.
will know the truth.
We got lots of potentials out there.
I know, it's insane.
I got like
Will-
8 more names on my list here.
Will Vader visit the Lars Homestead?
That's a great question. Borgullet, will Vader visit the Lars Homestead? Without a doubt.
Yes, my master.
And
All right.
Borgullet,
Oh, yeah.
Borgullet,
Borgullet,
will there be a twin sunset scene again for the 50th time
Borgullet, will there be
in Star Wars?
a binary sunset scene? I'll look good. Of course there will be.
If Vader's going to be there, he almost needs to have his moment with it.
Right, exactly. He can
That
stand
is
there.
correct.
Just like Luke did. Okay, all right. So next cameo, will we see Grand Moff Tarkin in Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Yeah, again,
Most likely.
many.
Most likely.
Okay, most likely. That's not a definite, but it's leaning that way.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Borgullet,
Good.
will we get any characters crossing over into live action from the animated series? Either
wow,
Rebels
that's
or
wide
Clone
open.
Wars.
Okay. Borgullet, will we get any more characters from the animated series crossing over into live action in this series?
Oh, including Bad Batch. I need to say Rebels,
Okay.
Bad Batch.
Right.
Clone
Signs
Wars.
point to yes.
Okay. Omega.
Oh, meager.
Omega.
Meager. All right. Next cameo. Will we see Captain Rex in Obi-Wan Kenobi? Concentrate and ask again. Okay. Borgullet, will we see Captain Rex in Obi-Wan Kenobi? Wow. Concentrate and ask again.
Did Rex come
You're really
here?
confused on this. Okay, I'm gonna come back to that. So I'm gonna ask a different one. All right, Borgullet. Will we see Ezra Bridger in Obi-Wan Kenobi? Most likely. All right. Interesting.
Virgo thinks you're a simpleton.
That is correct.
He just keeps lying to you.
More lies.
More lies. All right. Borgullet. Will we enjoy the series overall? Is the series going to be great?
Okay, Borgullet. Is this subjective? Is the series going to be
No,
great?
it's objective. It's factual. One way or the
Yes.
other.
Yes, it's going
Yes.
to be great. Yep.
Is it okay? You actually said yes. It's going to be great. That's what was the
Well,
answer.
no. It's going to be
Okay.
spectacular. Was actually the adjective.
All right.
All right.
Spectacular.
Spectacular.
All
All right. So, will we see the Emperor in Obi-Wan Kenobi, Borgullet?
Good question.
Oh, very doubtful. Very doubtful.
We'll get Grandma Tarkin.
But yeah, exactly. We'll get Tarkin.
For whatever reason. Borgullet, will we see Hayden Christensen without the Vader mask?
Okay, Borgullet, will we see Hayden Christensen without the Vader mask? Yes, definitely.
All right, good to know. I mean, that makes sense. Why would you hire anyone?
You're right. Why would you hire that specific actor if you're just going to put him in a suit? Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right. I'm getting short on cameos here, but we already asked Jabba, Luke, Leia, Yoda, Mace. I got one more.
Admiral Agbar.
You can see here the binary.
See here.
All right. Okay. We're going. It's time to get serious. We're going. All right. Will we see Ahsoka Tano in?
No.
Okay. We can't find this one out because he said better not tell you now.
Okay, yeah.
So he's going to keep at least something.
Not till after the Ahsoka series is over or something.
Right. Okay, I'm going to go back to my my
Super
Captain
Ahsoka.
Rex question one more time. So, Borgullet, no lies. Will we see Captain Rex in Obi-Wan
Did
Kenobi?
you lie to me?
Me? Very doubtful. No Rex then. Okay, so we won't see Rex. All right.
I know I had a question, but now I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, Borgullet. Will Obi-Wan be saddled with a child like all the protagonists in every Disney series have been so far?
All right, Borgullet.
Will there be a magical child he has to protect?
Will Obi-Wan Kenobi be saddled with a magical child to take care of in the series?
Will he
Without a doubt. Without a
have to
doubt.
succor the child?
Those are happy words to Greedo, without a doubt.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Sorry about that.
He loves that. All right.
I am a Jedi, not a babysitter.
Hello there. All right. I think I have
Survived 10 younglings dead. Escort them, you must.
I just have one final question for the Borgullet. Borgullet, will this series be
Borgullet.
a one-season series only?
That's a good question. Now we're down to it.
Most likely.
Okay.
I mean, that's the reports we've heard are saying that this is like just a one series thing. This is like
I have one more question for Borgullet.
Okay. Final question for
Now that we've
Borgullet.
learned all these magnificent things from Borgullet. Borgullet, will Carillion own more than 10 t-shirts associated with the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Borgullet can't really tell me more or less. So I'm just going with, will it be more than 10?
Okay, Borgullet. Will Brilliant Trader, yours truly, own more than 10 t-shirts emblazoned with the
Something
Obi-Wan
to do
Kenobi
with
series
Obi-Wan
logo
Kenobi
or
series.
something related to the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Will he take an Obi-Wan Kenobi lunchbox to work?
It is decidedly so.
It is decidedly so.
It is decidedly
All right, well,
so.
you need another closet.
I gotta get to start buying those shirts. So.
That is correct.
Another closet. OBK.
OBK.
Oh, wait a minute. OBWK. Obwuk.
Alk. Okay, well, okay, thank you, Borgullet, for your time.
I can't wait for the next Magical Child storyline to hit us.
For all the lies and the truths. All right, so Borgullet's got to go back into hibernation, and we'll dust him off. We'll dust him off when we get close to another show that we want to talk about. All right. One other thing I uncovered in my research today, just to say, not even Obi-Wan Kenobi related, but I did see that Mandalorian season 3 is now filming. That they started production, I believe, either this week or last week. So yeah. So that's actually in production as we speak. So
you have to wonder how that's all working.
I'm guessing we're gonna get a spring release on that probably.
Oh.
I mean, maybe we'll see. I don't know how long.
Boba Fett is December this year, right?
Correct.
That is correct.
He's going to be in December.
Then Obi-Wan could be this, like May or June or something.
Right. Yeah. It could be late spring, early summer, and so maybe Mandalorian, with all the post production involved, maybe it gets pushed till fall.
Yeah, I would think so. I bet you Mandalorian.
Especially, I didn't quite think about that, because if they're just now starting to film, they still have post production.
Yeah, I bet it will come out in November or December, maybe September if we're lucky. But
yeah, I can see that.
Right. Yeah, well, and you gotta wonder about the whole Last of Us stuff with Pedro Pascal, how that's going to affect things.
Right. The show he's in, exactly. Okay, so I think that's about all the speculation we've got in us right now for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Definitely looking forward to it, though. I've had this on my radar for a while. I've always kind of had an interest in that. I read the expanded universe novel back, I don't know, 7-8 years ago when it came out, just called Kenobi. I read that, and that was kind of interesting. Just kind of a storyline of what he's doing while he's watching over Luke and all that. But I'm looking forward to it. So yeah.
Yeah, another thing I thought of is if they're going to involve Vader, and it depends on how heavily they involve Vader, but this could be some kind of thing of Obi-Wan feeling guilt for allowing Anakin to live and become Vader. Right. Because of course, the last we saw in Revenge of the Sith, he didn't really know that. No, he didn't know Anakin was going to live and become a powerful Sith and all that.
That's why he's just leaving him there.
Yeah, he left him there to his fate. And
the phrase to die. That's
so this could be a thing of the seeds of the rebellion or whoever is saying, like, look, there are these Imperial agents that are, very exceptionally dangerous, help us or something, and then Obi-Wan could be figuring out that Vader is Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where the whole machine and man thing comes from. More machine than man.
He's more machine than man.
Or it could be about him trying to protect one of the twins, or the secret of Anakin being the father of these.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's established Vader didn't find out about Leia until Return of the Jedi. So
so he can't
know about her. Was wise to hide her from me. So
right.
They could totally flip things on their head, and I just don't think they do that though.
Mm.
Anyway, I'm gonna stop. There's so many ways they could go.
Right, exactly. It's all this again, this conjecture. We don't really know any of this stuff. This is all just supposition, and
he could just be washing his dewback the whole.
It might be. It might just be 6 episodes of washing.
It runs away. It.
Yep.
Comes back. He has to feed it. He gets dirty again instantly because of a sandstorm. He has to wash again.
All right, so that's about all we've got this week. Leave us comments, leave us likes, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications. And leave us some comments down below. We'd love to talk to you about this and what you think and what you're looking forward to with this show. All right, so until next time, we'll see you then. Take care, guys.
Scum and villainy, yeah, it's a wretched hive. But life ain't always teddy bears, fireworks, and high
I just hope, when you
fives.
think about all the things that you do, I hope it doesn't go crazy with just constant, like kind of like Solo did. You know?
Stick around long enough, you'll be lucky just to lose a hand. Singing yum num, raise your glass and sing yum num, yum num. At the Cantina Club.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Oh, yeah.
Although they didn't do
Down
it
to
at breakneck
the
speed,
dice.
but they had a ton of things in there that everything pointed to some kind of origin of something. I hope they don't just constantly
Overdo it with that.
Yeah,
exactly.
you know, he's some kind of crazy old hermit or whatever. You know, I hope they don't.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't learn the Crate Dragon call right in front of us. You know. Just,